current business cycle that is ridden with uncertainty, everyone is concerned about performance of employees and the company. Given the ongoing situation with the pandemic, we are even more concerned with well-being, resilience, and growth of our employees. How can we best stay productive at home or at work when there are so many uncertainties? To discuss this transformational phase of employees, I have with me Sulbha Rai, Chief People Officer at VenueBuy. Sulbha, welcome to the HR1 CHRO series.
Thank you, James. Pleasure indeed.
Yeah. So Sulbha, I was reading an article recently written by Josh Bersin, where he talks about performance management in the pandemic, becoming your best self. For instance, in his view, it is about facilitating growth and collaboration around goals, and not just measuring and managing goals as though they are some rocks for us to actually work around. Now, this looks like a big shift from the past. So, Sulbha, how do you see performance management evolving now? And can you talk about any specific innovative initiatives that you have perhaps implemented?
I can't agree more with Josh's view, and I remember going through that article myself. It holds so true in today's world. And VenueBuy, we can give you a real example. The way the entire last 6 months have been, and the way the organization has matured, the people have matured, has been an exceptional experience for all of us. And in this, not only the organization people matured, but even the HR processes and the practices have matured here. And specifically to the performance management that you're talking about, we also saw a massive change for us. And why I'm saying massive, I'll talk more about it. So from just the KRAs and the KPIs, the focus shifted to the output. The environment had changed, and the way we started operating got changed. So we said it doesn't matter where you work from, you should be able to come up with the outputs. And that's where the shift of the performance was not only on these specific things that you do, but the outcome you're able to deliver. So, and performance management is all about alignment. In the words of Simon Sinek, always start with a why. Right. And it's very important for the individual to know why they are doing something and what does it, lead to. Why does it matter to anyone? And once that alignment is there, right from top to the last man on the mile, it's a different journey altogether, both for the employees as well as for the organization. So here at VenueBuy, we're also working, continuously to ensure that the processes not only enhance the experience of the employee, but also at the same time delivering the expected outcomes for the organization. So we are a sales-intensive organization, Thomas, and we have a large part of our employee strength who is focused on sales. And for sales, it's very easy. You have specific targets. It's so measurable. It's so tangible. But what is the biggest change that we did for the non-sales? So we were earlier doing the similar year-end activity, as part of our performance management. We have now shifted gears and we have now made it quarterly reviews. What does that mean is that now we don't really wait for a event to happen and the feedbacks to happen and people to know. First, we start why we are doing and why something is a focus area for the quarter, what needs to be done for the quarter, and how are we going to do it. So that the why and the what and the hows get discussed, and that becomes your performance, yardstick, and that's how we have been evolving our performance management.
Right. Yeah. So there's some talk that now companies are also shifting, or rather considering what they call as a performance dialogue, versus performance management, because in these times, even in 3 months, a lot of things can change. right? There's so much of uncertainty, and and therefore, is there an opportunity for us to keep asking employees, is this the right thing that we are doing, and how is it going, for instance, so you think that this cultural shift that is likely to happen in performance management may come with its own share of challenges on measurement and and so on and so forth?
Of course, performance is a touchy topic, and other than few departments, sometimes it does become subjective, and that's where the gray areas creep up. How do we make people believe in this process, and how, as an organization, we leverage this process becomes extremely important. So you spoke about the conversations. Of course, it has to go beyond just the ratings, and it has to be more on the engagement, how a person fits in a particular role, what value that person is able to deliver, what an organization can do to enhance his own professional bandwidth, and how can he get more from the organization through exposure and experience. That becomes extremely important. So yes, it has to be more evolved, and it has to be continuous engagement. People should be aware that every time they're doing something, what is that something, what value do they bring to the table, and how it is making a difference to the organization. So you rightly mentioned that it has to change more than just the measurement part. It has to become a lever of powerful engagement between the organization and the employee.
Yeah, I can see that you're very passionate about the subject of performance management. Yeah, and actually you did touch upon this on this engagement piece as well, which is really my next question, which is that when employees perform well, they are engaged. So the hypothesis is that it's performance that is actually fueling engagement, and perhaps not so much the other way around. And this is a very debatable and contentious topic. But at the end of the day, when someone performs well because he or she has clarity on their goals and they're able to do a good job, then they get a lot of positive feedback, and that fuels future performance as well. So really, this concept of building or making your best self is really critical. In these times, it's not just about yourself; it's about the team, it's about your growth, your journey, and so on and so forth, and which are really the powerful engagement tools. So, any thoughts around that?
Again, complete alignment there, because engagement is just not about some celebration, some congratulations, or just some activity, or sometimes just one-on-one. It has whole lot meaning, deeper meaning, and it is all about how you make a difference to the even the professional lives and personal lives of the employees.
Right.
So we cannot just, and all the time the conversation cannot be just, this is your goal, this is what you have to achieve, this is what you will be rated, this is what will lead to this. People spend most of their active hours at office and at professional front. It is extremely important they feel aligned. It is extremely important they feel valued. It is extremely important that they feel the part of the entire growth story. So how do you bring that? And that's precisely engagement is for me, and you can only bring that when you're exposing your people to different kind of works. That kind of gives them exposure not only to different skills, professionally or technically, but also personally. Different projects give them different challenges, they work upon them, and they acquire different kind of competencies. So it has to go beyond that. Performance management has to ensure that people feel the kick or the excitement of even developing themselves and growing as a professional when they are working. I mean, performance at the end, obviously everybody expects them to do well and have certain measures, but how as an individual they are able to in the whole journey first are included in their growth story, and also how they are progressing in personal and professional front. That becomes extremely important.
Yeah, thanks. And linked to this is the entire learning journey for the employees. So, and so my real thought here is that, we are all constantly developing ourselves personally and professionally, and over the years, we've built a whole set of skills so that we can work with people well, we can solve problems, we can become good leaders. And then we've also picked a host of, technical skills as well. But the key thing is that, each individual is unique and they bring a unique set of skills to the table, and they also bring a unique combination of these skills. Now, I think that's where a lot of challenge lies, because in today's day and age, where there's so much of online learning which is happening, how do you really fill in the gaps of applying those skills that you learn? I mean, maybe some of the hardcore coding kind of skills are a little different, but otherwise, most of the other skills, there's a big challenge around application. So, so how do you think, that gap can be filled?
So, if you go through the data and research, it says that maximum learning happens on the job. So, 70% learning is attributed to on-the-job training. 20% is your classroom trainings, and 10% is your coachings. Yeah. So, and the good news, at least in my organization, is that immense learning happens on the job. What people probably, so you mentioned about, a lot of online trainings is happening, but how do they apply? And, we do a little role reversal. So we say, this is what is something needs to be done, how prepared you are. And if there is a gap, let's, fix that. So, it's more about, it starts with the application, and people learn on the job. And that also gives them the excitement, because that's where the actual learning is happening, and they're enhancing their curve out there. So something that we have done at our organization is we always ensure that a massive focus is given on the job training. It is extremely relevant to their profile, the kind of job they're doing at the moment, and we are true believers of of measurement. So we believe in the book, the things that get measured gets managed. So every program is always followed up by the measurement of understanding and application, and we also keep tracking how people are applying these skills and what has been their outcome, and then we keep revisiting and revising our content, our delivery, and everything else. So I think for us, like I said, on the job training plays a huge role. It gives them exposure not only to new skills but different kind of competencies. And again, we do it through maybe projects, different assignments, different role, and all that kind of adds to the professional and personal growth of the individual.
Right. Okay. So finally, I must ask something which is close to my heart, which is around HR technology. So, so how are you leveraging HR technology now while, transforming a host of people practices? Because I'm sure a lot of things would have changed and expected to change in the future as well. And I think HR tech is now becoming very, very close to a lot of organizations in terms of people practices and how they need to be driven. So it will be nice to hear some of your thoughts or initiatives around that.
We have been leveraging it in different bits and pieces, but I think it's going to come very handy. I feel a lot of HR has to move from H to P, I think, and the soul is people, and we should remove that resource kind of feeling from this function, and let machine become the resource part of it, and handle the that things that can be easily managed by machines. So, and HR should be totally involved in doing much more meaningful conversations, connects, and deeper involvement, and that can only come when we leverage HR technology space there. So I think AI will become very important, machine learning will become very important, the way we hire people, the way we onboard them. I think while there are different ways in which we we just spoke about performance management, but the operational part of it, so that it also gives us the data and give some predictive analysis on how the employees are doing, what is the expectation, how is one moving from performance versus potential, where is the people we need to invest in, or look at different roles, etc. I think there's where technology will come a lot into play. While we all have seen a lot of data and dashboards, but the intelligent inferences has to come, and I think that's where this space will work. I'm very bullish on it. I have a lot of plans to implement newer technologies. And
so thank you so much, Sulba, for this wonderful conversation.
Thank you so much, Thomas.
And to all our viewers, please continue to be your best self, as that seems to be one of the finest ways to to actually build yourself and to drive success. And thanks once again for everyone for joining us on this on our series, which is the HR1 CHRO series. And until next time, goodbye.